Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Health with Samantha DPT. I'm Samantha Holland, Doctor of Physical Therapy, and today I'm going to be going over the rotator cuff. Alright, so you may have heard of the rotator cuff a lot. You may even have an injury there and wondering what exactly is the rotator cuff. Well, first of all, it's the rotator cuff, C-U-F-F, and it consists of 4 muscles that surround your shoulder blade and your upper arm. Okay, and I'm going to go over each of those muscles briefly today so you get a good idea of what this area is. Okay, so like I said, there are 4 muscles that attach from your shoulder blade to your humerus or your upper arm. There are 3 in the back and 1 in the front. Got a nice picture here of the rotator cuff from up above, and then this is the front of your shoulder and then the back on this side. Okay, so on this side we've got the one muscle in the front that's called the subscapularis. So subscapularis sits on the front of your shoulder blade. You can't directly palpate it through here. You can actually palpate it under your arm, getting to that shoulder blade. But its main action is to internally rotate your arm or move it this way. All right, that's subscapularis. The 3 in the back, from top to bottom, are Supraspinatus, Infraspinatus, and Teres Minor. So, Supraspinatus, this one right here, sits right above the spine of the scapula, and it attaches to your humerus, all right? And its main action is to initiate abduction or lifting your arm out to the side this way. Infraspinatus, right below that, got infraspinatus right here. Its main action is to externally rotate your arm, so moving it out this way, okay? And as does Teres Minor, which is right below infraspinatus, also does external rotation. Okay, so like I said, these muscles are from your shoulder blade or scapula to your humerus or upper arm, and their main action really is to stabilize the glenohumeral joint, which is your shoulder joint. So what that means is it's helping keep your arm locked in to the rest of your body, which with gravity actually is a lot of work on these 4 tendons, because gravity tends to kind of pull us forward in that forward rounded shoulder posture. So that's one thing that you can do to help yourself when it comes to the rotator cuff. There's different ways the rotator cuff can be injured. Commonly, it's an acute injury. So say you're lifting something heavy and you lift it overhead and you feel a pop or sudden pain, or even just later you feel some pain and dull ache. You might have strained your rotator cuff, one of your rotator cuff tendons, or potentially tore it, hopefully not. But yeah, so that's one way that you can unintentionally, unfortunately, hurt your rotator cuff. So, of course, using your legs or trying to draw those shoulder blades down and back as you're lifting are ways to help prevent that. Another way is just repetitive micro trauma over time. So whether it be you're an athlete, you have a lot of physical labor involved with your job, or you just do a lot of the same kind of movements with your arms, it could be over time sort of overstressing those tendons. So, rolling out your upper traps, getting some good upper body pec stretching, and working on scapular stabilization, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, are things that you can do to help yourself with that. And then, like I sort of mentioned, gravity and posture, having poor posture can definitely contribute to a rotator cuff injury or affect the health of these tendons over time. So say you're sitting like this all the time, if you think about those tendons we talked about in the back, they're kind of getting stretched out all the time. So what you can do is bring those shoulder blades down and back on your rib cage, and then think about where this arm is in space. Rather than it being so far forward, just drawing it down and back a little bit can really take a good amount of tension off of those tendons and sort of protect the integrity and the length of them. So I also mentioned scapular stabilization. What that means is helping strengthen the muscles that are around your shoulder blade so that it's easier for you to have your shoulder blade resting in the correct position. So in other words, strengthening your mid-back is something that's really important. The front of us tends to get really tight, so it lengthens out the back, and we need to work on strengthening the mid-back. I'm going to show you at the end of today's video a great exercise to work on some scapular stabilization as well as shoulder mobility. So what that means, being able to move your shoulder or arm around in space, but also keeping the shoulder blades locked down on your rib cage so that you have a good support system and not so much strain on those tendons. All right, so if you do happen to have a rotator cuff tear, seek physical therapy. If your surgeon suggests, there are ways to help prevent getting surgery by doing conservative treatment. It really depends on the severity, quality of life and what function you're trying to achieve, but there are ways to help yourself if you do have a rotator cuff tear. We also, of course, do post-surgical PT for rotator cuff tear repairs. And then definitely if you have just a strain or pain in your arm, feel free to get checked out by a PT or take some of these exercises and stretches I've been showing on my channel to help improve your health, and you can definitely help heal one of your rotator cuff tendon injuries that you may have. Even if it's long-standing, you can definitely do things to help yourself, or at least be engaging other muscles to take some stress off of the rotator cuff tendon. Okay, I hope this overview helped explain some of the mystery behind the rotator cuff muscle groups. And right now I'm going to show you the exercise that's seemingly pretty simple, but actually if you're doing it correctly, is challenging to keep that shoulder blade down and back, as well as working on mobility of the arm. All right, here's the shoulder mobility and stability exercise. This is for the left shoulder. I lay on my right side and then fall back, so the back of your arm is on the mat. And what you're trying to do is draw your shoulder blade down and back on your rib cage and keep it there as you slowly move your arm out to the side. Okay, so I'm constantly staying engaged as I'm moving my arm. When I get to about 90 degrees, flip the hand, keep the elbow on the ground, shoulders still engaged, shoulder blade still down the back. What you're going to do is try to bring your hand towards your back. What's going to happen is the shoulder's going to want to go this way, but you have to actively keep it down to bend the hand behind your back. Come back out, nice, slow, and controlled. Flip back over, and again, slowly come back up. All right, so that's 1 rep on the left side. I'd recommend doing 3 reps on each arm as a warm-up before you start an upper body workout routine. Please comment if you have any questions and subscribe to see more videos like this. Thank you.